Technology is one component of what we need to achieve here in Tadweer. Essentially, we're looking at achieving a 80% diversion rate from landfill by 2030, contributing to the UAE's ambitious goal of net zero by 2050.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Sustainability Heroes, a podcast brought to you by Tadweer Group where we speak to guests from across the sustainability sector. I'm here with the lovely Matt Rogers. Hi Matt.
Good morning, Sara.
Good morning, Matt. Matt is joining me here as Executive Director of Technology and Digital, and he's going to talk to us all about tech in the waste sector.
Absolutely.
So Matt, please tell me your story and what your role is at Tadweer Group.
Sure, no problem, Sarah. Well, let's start by saying that it's been just a 9-month journey for me here in the UAE to begin with. I'm here to deliver the strategy to support our strategic goals in terms of technology. And I bring to the table 30 years of experience in the tech industry and the last 10 years in the waste and environmental services sector. Prior to that, I've got lots of sector experience in insurance, financial services, investment banking, property services, travel and tourism. So a really nice broad spectrum of experience to bring to the table.
That's amazing. You really have touched on every sector, and then obviously you got to the most important one in the end. So please talk to me a little bit more about the importance of accelerated technology and AI when it comes to the waste sector.
Technology is one component of what we need to achieve here in Tadweer. Essentially, we're looking at achieving a 80% diversion rate from landfill by 2030, contributing to the UAE's ambitious goal of net zero by 2050. So technology can help, but it's not the sole answer. We look at strategic partnerships with people in sectors such as oil and gas, aviation, other sustainability industries. And then finally, the community engagement. And education is such an important part of how we can achieve these very ambitious but fantastic goals. Okay. I'll go back to technology. So partnerships, really, really important. Selecting the right vendors, working with them, and diligently understanding our needs as an environmental services and waste management company. At the moment, we've got several very exciting projects in the pipeline. We're looking at implementing an integrated waste management platform. So what does that actually mean for Tadweer? What does it mean for the industry? Well, it will enable us to have the vision of understanding what we're collecting at source right the way through to treatment and all the steps in between. Now, if we start with a collections business, Tadweer operates over 7 lots. We contract those out currently, and we're looking to potentially internalize some of those. With that, we need to prepare ourselves to become a collector of waste, which is a very different, I'd say, dynamic to what we currently do. With it becomes technology enablement. So it starts potentially with your trucks, sourcing the right trucks, having them equipped with the right technology. That can be anything from AI-enabled cameras.
Interesting.
So things like computer vision, really important, really important. So many different use cases that we can exploit here. So that could be having cameras in the cab that looks at HSE-related activity. So are people wearing seatbelts? Are they wearing the correct PPE? Yeah. Are people making sure they're not doing anything they shouldn't do, like smoking in the cab?
True.
And these will really contribute to our, again, the health and safety ambition of the company, and safety being one of our core pillars and values of what we need to deliver here. Additionally, we'd have cameras outside the trucks, and they can do some wonderful things. So as you're driving your truck down the street, we obviously have our containers which we're collecting. Let's say some residents have put some waste outside of the bins. That's not a good look. Not a good look for the Emirate. It's not a good look for Tadweer. So the cameras can identify that and react to it by sending alerts to our control centers.
Wow. That's very cool.
Yeah, really, really funky stuff. Good to use some of those, words that probably younger generations might use. On top of that, they can obviously look at the condition of the containers. So are the residents actually using them in the way they should? Are the lids open? Are they closed? Are the lids working? Are the wheels working? All of those things, it can take away some of those more manual tasks around inspection, etc.
Wow.
What other in-cab technology do we have? Okay, so we can understand how the trucks are driving. The driver behavior. Are they accelerating fast? Are they decelerating? The speed of these kind of things. What miles per gallon or miles per liter, maybe I should say here in the UAE.
In this country.
Exactly. What is their consumption profile? And obviously that really helps with our ESG goals as well.
Of course.
Yeah, so if we can encourage better driver behavior, we can limit our emissions. Fantastic. Yeah. On top of that, we can do things like weighing the waste which we're collecting. So when the container is lifted, we get the exact weight of the material inside. When we're transporting that and it goes over a weigh bridge, okay, we can see there shouldn't be a difference. Great, there isn't a difference. You're good to go.
Wow.
And then ultimately, when our wonderful treatment facilities come online, our new mixed recycling facility and the waste to energy plant here in AD, we'll be able to take even more data in terms of waste composition. Again, holy grail. Our waste to energy plants need to operate on a specific calorific value. Our mixed recycling facilities, to get the optimal material coming out the back, they need to have good quality inputs. And then, whether we're transferring waste to places like transfer stations. And, ultimately, if we can avoid it, going to landfill.
Of course,
which is our 80% goal. And
You
we're
got it.
committed to that target. So that's just the collection point of things and how we're using and exploring technology. But ultimately, if we can digitally track that material from source to treatment, it's a bit of a panacea for our journey in sustainability. Yeah.
I love that. I love the fact that the way that you're touching on this, tech really does touch on every single element of the waste journey, right? It's from the very beginning. I mean, everyone mostly thinks, waste is when it goes to landfill. No, waste starts from the consumption. When you put it in the bin, it doesn't just disappear. There's a whole process for treatment. And I love that tech really goes into every element of that. And you've touched on specifically kind of what Tadweer Group's role would be when it comes to digitizing this journey. Can you tell me a bit more about kind of your goals for Tadweer's digital transformation and where you see us going in the next couple of years?
Another great question, and I will go into that broader context, but can I quickly segue back to some of the really other
You may.
exciting things that Tadweer are doing?
You may.
Okay. So on top of, that collections journey that I just talked about, we can do some really clever stuff. And in the future, we can be putting things like bin level sensors within the containers themselves.
Nice.
So we will know whether they're full, when we need to collect them. So we can collect them on demand. We don't need the residents to call us or the local municipality or somebody to report an issue.
Right.
We can do it from our control centers and say, we need another vehicle to go to this location, collect this particular bin. Secondarily, if we know and can predict the volumes of waste in certain areas, we know we can do some route optimization with our vehicles, send them to the right locations at the right time, and obviously eradicate unnecessary journeys. Again, contributes to our ESG targets. So again, another amazing use case that we're looking forward to implementing here at Tadweer. On the broader scale, in our digital transformation, it is tall as it is broad. But ultimately, it's underpinned by our strategic pillars of the organization. So that's looking at how we operate here in the Emirate, looking at how we will operate and manage our collection service for our residents and private companies, the onboarding and build out of our facilities that will treat this waste, and also looking at our expansion, potentially beyond the Emirate, GCC, maybe into other international territories, and give us that blueprint to move forward with. Because ultimately, we should be able to cookie cut and copy and paste. So what have we been focusing on here at Tadweer? I think one of the most exciting things that we've achieved over the last 6 to 9 months is our waste prediction models. It's phenomenal. So we've
Very cool.
So we've aggregated all the data that the company has collected over the last 5 to 10 years. We've put it into an artificial intelligence predictive modeling algorithm. And from that, we can anticipate the waste flows and volumes across Abu Dhabi.
That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that was possible.
It is possible, but what's really interesting is you can predict the times of the year, events, things that can influence the changes in those volumes, and we can play that forward, not just for maybe 1 or 2 months, but it will get into potentially years. And we're already doing some of this. And, before these were all manually driven tasks. Data aggregation is a difficult task. People can interpret data in different ways. Right now, we've got dashboards where people are singing from the same hymn sheet. It's one source of the truth.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. That's amazing.
Additionally, digital doesn't just touch what we do here in terms of waste collection activities and treatment, but also what we do here internally for our employees. And I think that's an important thing to mention. Whether that's the introduction of an HR chatbot, which we're currently going to be doing. That's, I think, probably about maybe 4 to 6 weeks out from now.
Nice.
Really good. We're looking at what we can do in other departments like procurement. Can we introduce agentic AI to help with that RFP process and then awarding of contracts? Contract analysis. The boundaries are quite limitless. It's always down to imagination when it comes to technology. And also not just about your imagination. Obviously, it comes down to, people, skills, time, money.
Always important.
Always important. We don't, we're not like everybody else. We don't have endless cash to invest. So we've got to really focus on the ones which are going to have the best outcomes for the organization. And I think here at Tadweer, we've got a really pragmatic and sensible approach to this. And I think some of the key takeaways for people in when they're regarding technology and how it's used in the waste industry, don't limit yourself to what you read in the press. What we need is really, and this is through our community engagement as well. We need really young, enthusiastic people coming through the ranks, learning these technologies, being interested in sustainability in our sector, and then bringing the ideas to the table and being really engaged and helping us deliver this vision. Because it's an ambitious vision, but it's one that personally I'm committed to, one I'm confident that we can achieve. We just need that input of energy to achieve it.
That's beautiful. And honestly, I'm so grateful that you have taken this time to speak about your extensive experience, not just in 30 years of IT and digital, but to have had such a legacy that you've created already in the waste sector, and to be able to bring international expertise to Tadweer Group and the UAE by extension is formidable. And I have one final question for you, Matt, if I may. I'm just curious, what is something that you think is maybe fun or interesting for people to know about tech and sustainability?
That's a brilliant question. I think there's a few things that spring to mind. Look, I talked about don't limit yourself by your imagination. So I'll give you a use case, which I read about in the press. It's about 4 or 5 years old, but I thought it was really compelling. It's a combination of something called, blockchain, which people may have heard of in terms of it running digital currencies across the globe, Bitcoin being the one that everybody knows about. Yeah. Sure. But it was a combination of a combination of blockchain and AI, which led to this, what I think is a visionary sustainability outcome. And the problem they were looking to resolve was about tuna and illegal fishing. I know, sounds really strange. Bit off the...
Tell me more.
Okay, will do. So essentially, there's an illegal fishing trade in the Pacific Oceans around tuna. So to allow people to understand the provenance of what they're eating, which is important to a lot of people, and it's important for sustainability, they basically created a system to record the line-caught tuna from bait to can. Sounds a bit strange, doesn't it?
A little bit.
So essentially what it means is from when that tuna is caught, it's tagged, it's scanned, and every part of its journey, through its transportation, to going through the manufacturing plants, to being canned, and then ending up on the supermarket shelf, is tracked. Yeah, I know. Sounds a bit crazy. Then you can go to that can of tuna, you can scan the QR code, you know exactly where it was caught. You know the geolocation, you know the country, you know the sea, you know everything
Right.
about this. I think what an amazing thing you can do with technology, not just from, I'd say, protecting our planet, but also educating people. It's saying, look, there are practices out there that you can help us stop. And just thought that there was something really lovely about that story. And it was initiated by the WWF, you know, and they've seen great success over the last 5 years, and they've extended it to other species of fish like Chilean sea bass. I know I'm going a little bit off tangent here,
I love it.
but anyway, and I thought a couple of other points is when people think about AI, and I think it's really important. AI is phenomenal. We all use it in our everyday life. Whether you're just interested in a particular subject, you want it to help you write a letter. Just one little caveat. It's not an infinite database of wisdom. It just knows the next best word. So just like your mobile phone has predictive text on it, that's been trained and it has a small volume of data to work from. The difference
Right.
between that and AI, like ChatGPT and DeepSeek and all this, is they have vast banks of data to work from. Billions and billions of documents, billions of lines of information, powerful computing. So you can understand, it aggregates all of that and it can really tell you, I'll ask you a question and it'll tell you the best answer based on its knowledge and the next best word to use. So a little bit of a takeaway for everybody watching this, if you don't mind, and a bit of a word of caution. It's a great tool. Have fun with it. Use it as much as you like. But it can hallucinate. It does give you the wrong answers. I read a great article online, and it was about an American lawyer, and he was going to court, taking part in a trial. So he thought he'd do his research on ChatGPT. So asking for legal precedents. So what's the general outcome? You know, what's happened in the past in these types of cases?
Right.
So he went in front of the judge. He started quoting these precedents. They're all fake. ChatGPT had made it up.
Oh my God.
Not a good look. So everybody watching, whether it's your homework, whether it's your project work, whether it's something your boss has asked you to do, just be a little bit cautious. But it is the future. It really is. And it is going to change the face of the world.
Wow. Well, I am floored. Thank you so much, Matt, for joining me today on this episode of Sustainability Heroes. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.